A lot of the same thoughts after the last game. Players played hard in the game, stayed focused. I think the offense did a great job of controlling the tempo of the game, played very well. Offensive line did a really, really good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. And obviously, B-Rob had a great day. Bryce did a good job taking what the defense would give. I think the defense played hard, got really critical stops and critical times in the game, which gave us great field position and set up some scores with the turnover. There's one thing we probably need to continue to develop is our ability to finish, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a block, whether it's a quarter, whether it's a game, whether it's, stacking positive performance from play to play, game to game, practice to practice, however you want to put it. And I think that would help us be a little bit more consistent. You got the players of the week. We're proud of B-Rob for being national player, Walter Camp and SEC player of the week, and Will Anderson being the defensive player of the week. So always great, to see our players get recognized for positive performance. I think, this is a very challenging game that we have coming up against a very good team. These guys have 15 starters coming back from, one of the best teams in the country last year. And this is a very challenging place to play. So, Jimbo does a great job getting his teams ready to play. He's a very good offensive play caller. They got a great defensive team. They're one of the top defensive teams in the country, one of the tops in the SEC. Points allowed, 12.5 points a game is, really, pretty phenomenal. And they've got some really good players up front. They're really good in the secondary. Offensively, they got a great back in Spiller. Nia Smith is a really good wide receiver, very versatile player, punt returner, kickoff returner, catch and run it, beat you deep. Really good player all around. Got a really good tight end. So they've got a lot of good players. They're really good on special teams. They've got good team speed. They've got really, really specialist punter and kicker. So this is all around, a really, really good team. Maybe the best team we've played to this point from a personnel standpoint. So this is a game that, we really got to get our mind looking forward to the challenge that we have, which is going to be pretty significant.
We'll start with Michael Casagrande.
Was there any update on Jase Mcclellan?
Yeah, Jase has got a knee. He'll be out for the year. He's going to have surgery tomorrow. So he's out.
Okay, and also, how would you assess your passing game's ability to distribute the ball to somebody? Excuse me?
Go ahead. We couldn't hear you there for a second.
Okay, yeah, just if you could assess the passing game's ability to distribute the ball to so many different targets, and how much strain does that put on a defense?
Well, I think that it's what we want to do. We've got a lot of players that are capable. I think when you play a team like we played last week, who drops 8 guys a lot, the quarterback has to do a good job of reading the defense. So it's not so much about trying to get the ball to a particular player as it is to reading the defense and, hitting the soft spot whenever possible. And I think Bryce did a really good job of that. The consequence of that is we had a lot of guys involved in the passing game.
We'll go to Nick Kelly in Tuscaloosa.
You guys have started just about every game pretty strong. Why do you think that is in terms of offense and defense?
Well, I guess it says something about good preparation. And the players have good intensity to start the game. I think, what we keep talking about is how can we sustain that? How can we, keep that energy level up for 60 minutes in the game? Hopefully, we learn a lesson about it's not just how you start, but it's how you finish relative to, especially when you're playing on the road, which is what I hope we learned at Florida. We got off to a good start and then, started to, be pretty average in terms of how we executed and what we did. And the consequence was that as the other team gets the momentum of the game and comes back on you. So we have to be able to continue to get over the hump and keep playing in every game.
Go to Charlie Potter.
Hey, Coach. Earlier this season, you said that Camar Wheaton got injured in practice. Do you have an update on him and what exactly the injury is with him?
He hasn't practiced. He had a meniscus or whatever, and so he's kind of week to week. But he's not been cleared medically to practice at this point.
We'll go to Cecil. Cecil, go ahead.
Yes, Coach, you mentioned the offensive line playing better against Ole Miss, showing improvement. Is there any one particular individual? I know Evans plays at a high level. Is there any individual that sort of stood out on the offensive line and developed for game one to this point?
No, well, we gave the entire offensive line sort of the Player of the Week award because we thought as a group they did a very, very good job collectively and individually. So I can't sit here and say, I'd pick one guy out and say that guy really played well. I think if you talk to every guy, they would say that there's something they could have done a little better. But we did what we needed to do in that game, and the offensive line was a big part of it.
Go to John Zener with the Associated Press.
Yeah, along those same lines, two-parter on the offensive line. One, you kind of switched gears a little bit offensively because of matchups and everything. How much of that is a credit to the offensive line, to trust in them, and how have they progressed as a group kind of as this season's gone along?
Well, I think they've improved every week as they gain experience and knowledge and play together. I think, there's been, steady improvement, but each week's a new challenge, and we're going to play against a really good front seven this week. So this will probably be the most challenged they've been, all season long. So to continue to progress is, I think, going to be a really key part for us to have success against this defense.
I remind you, if you want to ask a question, please use the raise your hand function. We'll go to Mike Rodak.
What have you seen out of Traeshon Holden and some of the increased playing time that he's earned? And just overall, what sort of development have you seen from some of the younger receivers?
Well, Traeshon has been the most consistent guy. He's got the most playing time. We need for, some of our younger guys to step up, show maturity in terms of preparation and ability to execute, knowledge, and sort of follow the lead of some of the other guys in terms of how they practice, how they prepare, what they do. I think that's going to be really critical for us as we move down the road.
Okay, we'll go to Stephen.
Coach, you talked about earlier that a lot of young guys on defense, but are you starting to see some voices rise on that side of the ball to talk about how important finishing games are?
Well, I think that, I've talked about that we have quite a few young guys on our team. We don't have a real senior laden team. And I think the more that the younger guys have success, the more confident that they will be in terms of how they express their leadership to affect other people. We've got a lot of young guys that set a really good example in terms of how they do things. There's two parts of leadership, though. You got to have people who lead, but you got to also have other people on the team that recognize leadership and follow along and, take the example that they see and implement that in their play and believe that, that's going to be beneficial to helping them, get what they want. Creating the right habits is, something that every player needs to understand the importance of that so that you're well prepared. And when you do get an opportunity, you're going to be able to take advantage of it.
Okay. We'll go back to Nick Kelly.
How would you describe the kind of speed that Will Anderson has?
I don't know. How do you describe speed? I mean, the guy's got initial quickness. He's got power. He's got enough speed to rush the edge and challenge the edge, and he can turn speed to power and pass rush. So if they do cut him off, he can, walk the guy back. The guy plays with tremendous competitive character, gives great effort all the time. He's got a lot of pride in his performance, and he works that way every day. I mean, he works that way in practice. And so I don't know how to describe what you're asking me exactly. I can describe the player, but and he's been very, very productive so far for us this year.
We'll go to Cecil again.
Coach, one quick follow-up. How has Roydell come along, and is he sort of ready to take a expanded role if that's what's required in Jase's absence?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. We've got a lot of confidence in Roydell. He's played well when he's had the opportunity to play. He's got, some extensive playing time, the game that B-Rob missed against, Southern Miss. So, we're very confident in him. Jase was a very good player, did a great job on as a runner, as well as a blocker, as well as very good special teams player. So we have to replace him in a lot of areas on our team. And but we do have confidence in Roydell, and I think he'll do a good job. And Trey Sanders is going to get more opportunity now, and he's got to be able to step up and continue to make progress as well.
Go to Tony Sakalas.
Yeah, Nick, kind of piggybacking off of that question, with only 3 healthy scholarship backs, has there been thought to maybe play a player from another position at that role?
Yeah, we'll probably look at some of that. See how it works out. If some guy has experience playing that position, we'll see, how they might be able to develop and be an emergency guy. And we've got several guys in mind, but we'll kind of see how it goes.
Okay, well, we got 2 more to wrap up. We'll start with Joey.
Hey, Coach, kind of going off of those 2 previous questions, with Trey Sanders and Roydell Williams, having to step up, like you said, what's the importance of having depth at that position with Mcclellan out for the year?
Well, it's really important, but we've kind of lost 2 guys at the position. I mean, 5 is a good number to have, but now we have 3. So, but I think that would be the case in any position. You lose guys at any position, 2 or 3 guys at any position, and it challenges your depth. And so that's the case. And hopefully you don't get snake bit and lose a bunch of guys at one position, which really can have an impact on your team.
We'll finish with Jacob.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about Fedarian Mathis, what he's bringing to the table. He's getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but also from a leadership standpoint, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. He's showing leadership. He's setting a good example. He's playing hard in the games, and he is being very productive. So we're very pleased with what he's done to this point. And he's always been a guy that plays hard and tries to please the coach and do everything he can to help the team win. It's important to him. And, those are the kind of guys you love to have on your team.